There you go. That's a topic to think about. Which got me really think about this topic as what it is. I only speak to those who are similar to those who has too much working rights, laws, countries can be majority of the Western world. And how is it different to those who have too much rights and as well compared to those who are cash in hand or perhaps a third world country? Now, when you have too much right, you can't just sack a permanent staff. All right. Now, this is the problematic that I get to see, even myself when I was a manager, and I get to see a lot of that. And I'm trying to notion, and I have to say, where the country is Australia, where I am, unfortunately. They claim that this country is a technological society, era, first world nation, um, first world country, sorry, not first world nation, first world country, and has everything. But when I look deeply, it's actually more tourism, international student, buying houses, and minerals. That's really known for this country. We don't make anything. But when I look deeply about this topic, just look at in the workforce. Now, I'm pretty sure, as we all know, employee has the lowest wages, right? But they have less responsibility. They're more of the physical, working on the ground, but they don't have responsibility in comparison to hierarchy management. Now, whether they're going to do paperwork or perhaps emails or perhaps auditing, it takes time, or go through complaints and whatsoever with stakeholders. That's what the hierarchy management have to go through in what sort of way. But when I look closely about it, employee, whether they could do good perform or bad perform, you can't just sack them, right? Because of after they finish their 6 months probation or whatever, it is what it is. And they get to pay their time. Now, there's too many unpaid hours that hierarchy management have to undergo, which is taxing, stress, and extra load. And it becomes a salary. Once you have a salary, you fix 80,000, 100,000, whatever the money it is. Then employer will squeeze you as much as you can, adding more work. And you may not have weekends. On your contract, you may stated that you work 38 hours full time, but technically you work more than that. Countries like Australia, labor is expensive. Country who has expensive labor. You wanted to hire not many staff. You hire enough staff. You wanted to hire the best of the best, right, to run the business with low overheads. And unfortunately, this weaves the majority, right? And even if you're running your own business, you're not making money because the money that you make is going to the working rights and as well the employees. And this is the problematic that I get to see. Especially countries like Australia, you don't get to see those who give chances on small entrepreneur companies or startup companies that likely in comparison when I was in China. Like small companies get to go bang 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 and everything. Employer have to go through a lot. Rent, stock, transportation, storeroom, staffing, wages, working rights, working conditions, tax, super, safe work, LMS training, policy procedures, and more. It is so much to go through. And if you look at, and I've never been to America and I'd like to go there, but if you go to America or countries who has high tipping, especially low entry level jobs, they could sell themselves to be whatever they can and work or hustle and bustle street smart in a way that they can earn extra more tips. So those who are able to do that will earn more than a salary man just selling themselves. And I believe what the biggest problem, actually I have to discuss about this topic another one, I won't talk about it now, but when I look at it now, who wants to handle all this hierarchy management of the load of stress over 80,000 per year? But if you're a low entry level employee, you can work in multiple jobs with no stress. You juggle to job to make money. Or your first is the same. And it's equivalent to the same because the amount of work that you put into effort, and depending on the job that you got into, it's not worth it. Then you got then you're on call, then you may be on call on the weekend as well. You're probably on 24 hours on the call. So that's what I'm looking at it now. So if you compare it to a third world country or those who are cash in hand job, employees are the biggest winner, making money. At times not making money as well, but there's less hurdles. I hire you, you're a good worker, and I pay you wages. If you're a highly achievable worker, I pay you more, you get pay rise. There's no contract or negotiable or tax involved for super. So you got countries like that as well. And you can run a business like that. And they get paid, most of the third world countries get paid monthly instead of hourly rate. Then this has become a problem. So workers doesn't have to be the best of the best workers. And labor is cheap. You hire quantity over quality. And this is where it becomes a problem. Where you got a society that's based on hourly rate and based on quality, not quantity. And this is where it becomes burnt out mental health or job change more frequent. Because you only have a half an hour break and expect to do X, Y, and Z, even crazier. I think what we get to see this post-pandemic or lockdown or coronavirus is the fact that there's many vacancy roles out there. At one stage, it was so difficult for anyone to be accepted. And usually it's an entry-level job. You're not competing with other people or around the world or international student or skilled migrant. And no matter what's their work ethics, employers have left with no choice but to have to hire them to contribute with the workload. And this is problematic to see, are they making money? Where they, especially where I am, Melbourne, Australia, many of them are more than 6 months out of rent that they still have to owe. And what's the word? Before pandemic, they had 18, and now they're just hiring anyone to fill in the position. So yeah, other than that, it is what it is. I'm just trying my best. Is to look at it is very sad to see, countries cannot grow and we're not highly respected the manager, where other countries are very highly respected their manager and serve their time, put the input, not cutting corners, where those who are third world countries, there's a certain point, if they slack off, then they get the boot, get the sack. So that's the video.